Hey guys, how you doing? And today I'll be going over how I make my dehydrated minced beef. What I get over here is Australian beef, and unfortunately it comes in little packets like this. It's about a quarter of a kilo. Don't know that in pounds or ounces. I'll put it up at the top. But what's really nice about this is it's very low in fat. So later when it's cooked, there's not much oil that needs to render out. And if you've done dehydrating before, you know that fat and oil is one of the things that can't be really dehydrated. So that's one thing that doesn't really let the meat go dry. So it's a good and actually very important to get high grade, low fat beef if you want to make a good dehydrated meat or beef, which will last a long time and will get really dry and dehydrated. So this is what I get, and it's frozen out of the freezer. The first thing I'll do is just break this all out into a dish which is microwave safe, and I'll pop it in the microwave to defrost it. And the good thing about it is even though the microwave cooks it partially, it doesn't really matter because we're going to be cooking it in the end. So I'll get a dish and then we'll bring it back. Okay, so what we'll be working with is a simple Pyrex today, and just tear off the cling and just pop them in. I'll be doing a slight calculation, rough calculation on how much we start with and what the final weight is in the end. So this is about full, and that's 4 trays. So let's pop this in the microwave first. This is 4 trays out of 8, and we'll get back and once that's all done. Always wash your hands with soap once you've handled meat. But anyway, let's go over to the microwave and pop it in. This is the biggest dish I have that'll fit in my little microwave. So interestingly, 2 kilos takes 30 minutes to defrost. We'll see maybe about halfway through how it's coming out, because all we need is for it to break up. Once that's the case, we can toss it in the pan and start the cooking process. Now, I guess this calculation is based on solid meat. Minced meat will behave differently. Okay, so this is just about, what was it now, 12-13 minutes. So that means 17 minutes microwave, and good enough basically, as long as you can do this. Now, the next thing is try not to break it up, leave it in long chunks. And this is my secret weapon. I use a wok, and I'll show you why in a minute. I see a lot of people using skillets and pots and stuff like that. I found that using a wok is really good. I'm just spooning this out just in case there's a little bit of blood at the bottom, as you can see. We don't want that. We just want all meat. So I'm just going to finish this up, and I'll bring it back. So basically it's not much, but this is what I wanted not to go into the pan or the wok. So I'll just get rid of this, and then I'll put the next 4 packets inside here. Alright, so now onto the microwave. Alright, so this is now just over about the same as just now. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's good enough. So let's take it over to the wok and get this sauteed. So anyway, just dish it out, make a little mound of it, and like I said, if possible, try and keep the strands as intact as possible. That will give you, later when you're dehydrating it, nice long pieces, chunks of meat. I don't know, I know it's all meat, it's the same, but it's nice to have chunks. Well, I like it. So as you can see, some of the meat has already started to cook. That's perfectly fine, because leaving it to defrost out of the freezer would take way too long. Alright, almost done. Alright, it's a bit, so as you can see, there's just a little bit of this stuff, water and all that at the bottom, and we'll just wash this out. So the next thing to do is, oh, it's a little piece here. Waste not, wants not. Put the fire on, well, I use gas, so put the fire on to medium, and the next thing is to get a cover. Cover it, not a cover is too big, you want to contain the heat inside, and just let it cook. Don't disturb it too much. The water will start to render out, and that's a good thing, and we'll come back once it started to heat up and get going. So that's the fire I've got going. It's about, on the dial it's about 7 o'clock. That's about max, that's min. And so I bring it up to have the flame on the outer ring, and maybe about 50%. 50%? Down a bit. Yeah, something like that. The meat's starting to sizzle a little bit. I did some calculations, so this is 2.2 kilos of meat, which is about 4.8 pounds. And once we are done dehydrating, we should be getting about half of that. So about 1 kilo, or maybe about 2.4 to 2.3 pounds. I use this in my backpacking meals when we go out, but I also keep it in the freezer for daily work, daily cooking. It goes great with pasta, fried rice, anything that needs meat. Or even if I'm really hungry and I got no time, then I'll just get some of this and rehydrate some couscous and toss it in. So as you can see now, we're getting some liquid there, and let's start working on this. Okay, so now we've been going for about 15 minutes now, and this is what we're with. And if you look at all the liquid there, that's liquid gold. Save that. So what you do is get yourself a ladle, get yourself some sort of bowl, and start spooning this all up. You'll have to recook it later if it's not fully cooked, but anyway, get as much as you can in there. You nab any meat, put it back, but you can use this in stock for all kinds of stuff, and just keep going. So the meat has more or less boiled in its own juices. Take out a little bit, take out a bit as much as you can. Beef cooks very easily, so all of this free water can be removed. Then get yourself a ladle and a cloth so that your wok doesn't tip on you. Toss your meat to the side. Drain as much as you can. You can still see a little bit of red there, no worries. This is why I like the wok. This is what a pan or a skillet can't do. After heat now, you can actually drain. So tip it a bit, don't let it fall. But now you've got all the free liquid. Actually, you can see this meat is so lean that there's barely any oil here to be recovered. Bowl alongside and start to recover all of this liquid gold. More will render out later, but this is why I use a wok. I've seen, excuse me, I've seen people try to dab their meat and I don't know, all kinds of ways to get the liquid out. This just uses gravity, and just repeat this multiple times and you are dehydrating most of the meat and even letting the oil drain out from it, so you don't even have, you deal with less oil later on. But like I mentioned at the start, try to use meat that's very lean so that you have very little fat to deal with. So that's about it, and this is what we have. And there's a little bit of oil at the top, but not much to speak of. Right, the fire back on. Come on, flame down. Push everything back into the middle. And now just loosen the chunks a little bit. Try not to break up the strands too much. Sometimes I'm more successful than other times, but anyway, get into the middle within the diameter of your cover, and then let it run. So that was 15 minutes after we started. It goes really quick. So we'll come back in maybe another 10 minutes or so, and we'll see where we are then. So we're just looking for amount of liquid that's rendering out and the color of the meat. So once you start to get it fully cooked, it'll start to break apart more easily, and you will not see those little specks of red or bits of red meat that we saw.